JUICEman3941 coming at you with another episode 9 of the Gaming Roundtable. Konnichiwa, bitches. Anyway, I'm back with this episode. I want to talk a little about the Anthem demo that just kind of came and went and is going to be coming back out on February 1st. For everyone that didn't pre-order it, they'll be able to play it. I want to talk a little bit about what I really liked about it, what I didn't like about it, and things along that lines. Now, I want to start by saying that this is the episode 9 of the Gaming Roundtable, and pull up a seat if you're able, grab a cold one if you like, because I'm drinking my cold one on this incredibly super cold night at 7 degrees right now outside. But let me have a sip real quick. Wow, that's good. Anyway, here's the thing. The Anthem demo, I know, was a shit show, especially on the Xbox. Most people who own an Xbox couldn't even play it, never got past the 95% load. I heard the PC was not optimized, and with controls and different things along that lines too. Now, GameStop gave me a code when I pre-ordered it. That code was for an entirely, actually different game. It was bonk. I never could get the code to work properly, even though the strange thing is it said that I had VIP access. What I found out later was that was not for the Anthem demo. It was for a previous E3 kind of thing. I don't know. Something got screwed up because the guy at EA told me exactly what happened. And essentially what happened is that I couldn't play it at all or get on there. So by the time that I requested a callback on Saturday, EA tech support and BioWare or whatever, EA's tech support actually contacted me and fixed the problem, and I was able to jump in and play. A couple times while I was playing, and 2 different times, I had to, it lagged really bad, and I had to log out and log back in. But other than that, there was a couple times I got hung up on the loading, and another time where it crashed. But that is all the problems I experienced with the actual game. I was able to play through the entire missions where Matthias splits into 3. I actually was able to get past both stronghold missions that were available, which are like the strikes from Destiny. Had a blast doing that, and got to level 12 where I could pick one of my other javelins, which I chose the Interceptor, which reminded me a lot of the Warframes because it was very ninja-like. Where the Ranger I played is much more like a War Machine or Iron Man type character. The thing about Anthem is that this was a 6-week-old build, and so this is not the complete representation of that game. A lot of people are already on YouTube complaining about the microtransactions, like $20 for a skin, and Stanger Joe talked about that. You know, here's the thing: it's still cosmetic. You don't have to pay $20. You can complain about, it's $20, but no one says you have to pay $20. You don't have to physically pay that. If they want to charge it, let them, but who cares? I'm not like a fanboy or anything. It's not like I'm this big fanboy of that, because everyone knows who's watched my videos can tell you, like, I'm critical of the games that I like. I feel like you should be critical of the games you actually like. What I played in the demo, being able to fly around, like jump in the air, fly around, hover, shoot enemies, dodge out of the way using flight, that one aspect of the game, the dynamic combat, where you can literally take off in the air and fly, very much like Iron Man, just really made the game, to me, come alive. A lot of people don't understand that very few games of any kind let you just fly around randomly. Now, most of the time, it's the hero genre. Like, on the 360, you could play Iron Man or Iron Man 2, or you could play Thor on the Wii, which had the ability to fly. Some games are flying games, like the Green Lantern game. I let you fly on the rails, and then Superman Returns, you could fly around. And of course the Lego games, but most of the stuff is always based around superheroes. There's very few games that let you just strictly fly. Most of it's always gliding. In Prototype, you could glide. In Saints Row 4, you can glide. It's like it's always some glide mechanic, but not actual flying. And it's just one of those things that game, it felt so good and rock solid to do that, easy to pick up and control, and just had a lot of fun doing that. Um, the mission structure with Matthias was some people have said was kind of boring, or they said there wasn't a whole lot to do there. The mission was fine. It is a story mission. I had no problem with it. The character Matthias was actually very likable, and I liked the mission. But it was pretty much typical mission you would find in any other game. You know, go here, do this, do that. One of the things I liked at the beginning was playing with 3 people was there was a puzzle you had to solve to unlock this manifold thing, which was the first part of the mission. And it was really interesting because it was like cool. They put these puzzles where you had to figure them out in order to drop this force field so you can take it. Um, the aspect of the story mission to me was fine, but it was atypical, like any other story mission that you would find in most games with role-playing mechanics. I mean, you can't expect, like, you know, Shakespearean levels of storytelling. You know what I mean? It's just not there. Or Francis Ford Coppola. It's not there. But it was still atypical and a fun mission overall, so I didn't really have a problem with that. The strike or stronghold missions were the most fun. I loved where you had to fight the Swarm King, but you had to take these resonance crystals and do this and do that, and there was all the stuff you had to fight. But again, unlike Destiny, where all you can do is glide, again, glide in the air, no flying, or teleport, even though I like Destiny's gameplay. It's always been solid. Its combat, gunplay, always solid. Anthem makes it feel like it's standing very still, though. And I absolutely, that just putting the ability to fly in the game puts so much verticality in how you can approach combat. How you can jump in the air and shoot stuff and then come down with your melee and then fly around and zip here. It was so nice, you know. The only thing that might be missing is cover, but you don't really need cover in the game because the air is your cover. Your ability to go wherever you wish in that environment was really cool. The stronghold missions were really fun. Really enjoyed them. They were a lot of fun. The boss, yes, wasn't too bullet spongy, and was definitely manageable with the ads, and again, what you would expect out of a mission of that kind, and it's similar to Strikes. There is a lot of world events that happen in the game. I came across these Sentinels, which are these armored guys. They're not javelins; they can't fly, and apparently they something pissed off a lot of the creatures in the surrounding forest area, and nature basically attacked them, and you do a couple waves of that, and then you fight like this big creature, and then they kind of go away, but it drops loot. The world itself was very, even though, again, I know it's an old build, but it was beautiful. The water effects were great, the bloom effects, it's just really good looking game for what build we got to see. Some people complained there wasn't enough environmental differences, but we were only given what BioWare refers to as a snippet of that map. So we didn't even get to see other environments, which I'm sure are in the game. And it's just a really interesting game, easy to navigate and whatnot. Now, there was some times where you had to jump into like part of the strike where you had to go underwater, and it is a little bit harder to navigate because while your lights turn on, it's dark, and it is kind of hard to navigate. So I'm hoping they put some kind of navigational waypoint system that'll make it a little easier in this build. One of the things that Anthem didn't let you do was you would earn loot, but you couldn't see that loot unless you physically like left the expedition and went back to your base or the forge or whatnot, and then you would earn your experience and stuff, and then you don't earn experience in the field per se. In the demo, there was no experience table on the HUD. However, it's just one of those things that I feel like, you know, that it is different in the sense because you earn this loot and stuff, and then you got to go back and then you see all the stuff you earned. Now, Warframe does that though. You know, you pick up stuff and then you complete the mission and you see all the stuff you earned. I hope that when you do earn new weapons and stuff in the field, that you'll be able to go in through a menu or something and change your loadout or change to those weapons, which is what Destiny does, Borderlands does. But they may not do that. And I think from an aesthetically or story-based kind of experience, it would make sense. They introduce a character who works on all the javelins, that you can't do stuff in the field. But I do know this, that the walking carrier that they would start you off on, that actually is your base. You don't have to necessarily go. That wasn't accessible, but I've seen it in the trailers. I've seen where you actually, this walking AT-AT looking thing is four-legged, and you can like go there and do stuff with your javelin. So I think it's like kind of like a just a mobile like base, and I think that will make it easier. And I don't think they're going to change it. I don't think they're going to make it to where you can change your loadout on the fly. I think you're going to have to go, but you won't have to go all the way back to the forge, the main base. You can go to this little mobile thing that you have and do it there. And again, I understand why they're doing it, because it's like somebody works on your javelin. You don't. So they never established like you're the one putting the weapons and stuff on there, or you're the one doing this, even though they're just handheld weapons like shotguns and autocannons and flamethrowers. And that's kind of where I'm at with that aspect of the game. I loved the game. I thought the music was good, the graphics was good, the demo worked for me for I'd say 90% of the time, and different little things were neat, because sometimes an event or something would happen in the one area, and then it would happen again in the same area later, but it was a different kind of event. And the creature designs, they're pretty varied. There's these wyverns that fly around that can shoot fire, and if it can cause your javelin to overheat if you're flying, because it's produced more heat on you. There was the outlaws, of course, and then of course the scars, which are these weird like main enemies types that you fight on some missions, and there was brutes and a variety of different creature types that attack you. These spiders, scorpions. They're not really scorpions. They got two like stingers, but they're like alien, and that's the closest thing that you can approximate. The spiders look a lot like spiders, but a little bit more alien, a little bit more like that's a little hairy to fight. Anthem, yes, was a shit show for launch, and even a lot of PS4 people, they had problems. They couldn't get on it right away Friday because of what happened to me. It was kind of serendipitous that I was able to get on after they fixed a lot of the server issues. It still sucks because EA knew how many people pre-ordered. They knew they gave 3 codes to every single person that pre-ordered to give to their friends. So even if 100 million people were on there, it was 400 million more, or 400 million total that was trying to log on and essentially DDoS their server and caused it to crash. I watched a YouTube video where a guy was showing his video time where he played in Japan. It's already been out in Japan now for a few weeks or whatever, maybe even longer. And he was talking about in this YouTube video how completely different it is from the demo, and that did not take that demo for face value. But what I have played of that demo, I keep telling myself, it's going to be my go-to game. I love shoot looters. I didn't realize how much I loved them until after Borderlands, after Destiny, after Warframe, after playing games that are similar. I like that. I also feel like the evolution of the combat is another evolution taken over from Mass Effect Andromeda. And while you couldn't fly, you still had your jump jets and the ability to be a little bit more mobile, and I think some of that comes from that. But Anthem to me, with its customization where you have different materials and then you're able to use a color wheel and you can color it however you wish, is so much better than anything Destiny did. Those shaders, they're not always even the shaders not always representative of what it will color. I've had shaders that were blue, white, and silver, and then I put it on a gun and the whole gun turned black. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. So I like the fact that everything's customizable, including your materials. Now, sometimes the game would not let me into the color wheel, but I think that is, again, another demo glitch that was happening because other people seem to have the same problem. Anthem as a whole, I think when it does launch on the 22nd, which is like at the end of this month, is going to have problems, of course, like any game does at launch, but it's going to be really... I think it's going to be a really good game. One of the things I like about it is the fact that they did offer an alpha build that you could get into. But they never really offered a beta. It was not a beta, it was a demo. And they didn't offer a beta to play. Even though GameStop touted it as a beta, it wasn't. Doing some research, I found that BioWare was already trying to shore up a lot of issues and stuff with Anthem during its life cycle. Now, yes, it was pushed back. It has been marred with some issues and difficulties, and different people kind of like bowing out because they just don't want to work for EA, or they don't want to work under their thumb, or BioWare was this or that. But, you know, BioWare has consistently delivered. You can say what you want about Andromeda. I've talked about this before. You know, who cares about the animation and stuff? A lot of that was shored up through patches. Like a week or two later, they fixed a lot of the animation problems, the graphic problems, but the overall game of Andromeda was actually really good. And BioWare, I've played all their games. I've literally played Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2, even though I know Obsidian made 2. They actually were involved in the making and part of that. I have played the online Star Wars Knights of the Republic, and maybe it didn't have the best in-game. I played it on my old laptop, and I had fun playing it. I have played Jade Empire, which is a great game. I have played, you know, the Mass Effect trilogy. I have played all 3 Dragon Ages, and I have played Mass Effect Andromeda, pretty much almost everything that I know of in the console end, and the one PC, I have played. And I have always loved BioWare's games. And I'm not trying to be the BioWare fanboy. I'm just saying that they generally do really good. And I'm excited for Anthem. I'm excited for this demo coming back live again this weekend, so I can jump back in and play some more. Even if it is a 6-week-old build, I don't care. Like, it just was fun to me. And I'm big about that whole flying mechanic. So many games just don't let you do that. And I just am really excited for the full-on game when it comes out. I know the demo had issues. Everyone knows this, but it was an old build. I'm not saying they necessarily get a pass. They should have known how many people pre-ordered, which they did. There's a lot of things they did wrong, and they deserve some of the anger and stuff coming their way over that. I was actually mad about GameStop giving me a bogus code, essentially. And a couple times when things happened in the demo, I was like, damn, man, I was getting into it. I mean, it kind of frustrated me, but I loaded back in, and I was in the middle of doing a mission, and as soon as I loaded back in, it said, would you like to continue the expedition where you left off? Boom, or whatever, hit X, and I left off. That was nice. That was really nice. I didn't have to start anything over. I was right where I left off. And expeditions, I think, is where the meat of the game is going to be. Now, a lot of people said there wasn't a whole lot to do in the open world, but again, it is not indicative of the actual build that we're going to get on the 22nd. I'm still looking forward to the game. I really enjoyed the game. The graphics in this build were still very, very pretty. The music, really good. The combat with the flying mechanic, excellent. And even playing the Interceptor versus the Ranger. The Interceptor was like a ninja, very Warframe-like, but with throwing stars and this giant like trap boomerang and different things. And it had like a triple jump and not just a double jump. And when you triple jumped, you flipped and then corkscrewed. And you could corkscrew really fast and come down with these glowing claws. My special for the Ranger was mortar missiles that just tracked all kinds of enemies and did a ton of damage, where the Interceptor just went into this whirling dervish Wolverine claws out and just tearing everything apart. The play style between the two was very, very different. I like that. It made me feel like, even though I can still fly around and do stuff, but I had to tailor the play style differently. And it was fun because, yes, all javelins can use any weapons across the board. I kind of treat it as Destiny. The Interceptor's light and fast. I gave the Interceptor a hand cannon and a railgun sniper that I actually earned. It was a blue one, and just kind of played the fast, pick them apart from up, from far away, and then run in for the kill with the ninja-like abilities of the Interceptor. I know me, and I know this is a game that it's gonna be my go-to game in coming February 22nd, and I'm definitely gonna play a lot of this game, and I am looking forward to you. So please don't judge your experience as a demo too harshly. It's an old build. BioWare will have this cemented and be shored up. Trust me, they always have delivered on all their games. And if you are never played a BioWare game before, I'd suggest go back and play any of them, because they're all good. And if you feel like this demo wasn't up to snuff, and you think this is how the game is going to be at launch, then, you know, it's definitely, I feel bad, because you're going to miss out on a really cool game. This has been episode 9 of the Gaming Roundtable, entitled Anthem Demo Thoughts. Episode 9, Gaming Roundtable, brought to you by the Unpaid Gamers. On YouTube, it's Unpaid Gamers. No, the Unpaid Gamers. No, just Unpaid Gamers by itself. Look us up. Subscribe to our channel. Subscribe to my videos. Hit that like button and tell me some comments and give me your thoughts. If you didn't like the Anthem demo, tell me why you didn't like the Anthem demo. If you love the Anthem demo, tell me why you loved that. Love to hear your thoughts here on the Gaming Roundtable. And as always, gamers, good gaming.